In our tech-saturated world, managing electromagnetic field or EMF exposure is more crucial than ever. So in this module, we're going to take you through a step-by-step process for how you can start to be aware of and start to reduce our exposures to EMFs. So let's begin with the R.I.D framework, which is a great starting point for thinking about reducing your exposure to EMFs. R stands for reduce the number of EMF sources. So the fewer number of EMF sources you have in your environment, the better off you're going to be. So favoring wired traditional appliances over smart ones, limiting your use of Bluetooth devices where possible, this can all lower your EMF's home footprint. Other things like choosing safer alternatives for low EMF baby monitors, using shielded power strips, wired keyboard and mice, and limiting your use of wearables, which transmit frequencies 24/7, considering taking them off when they're not in use, choosing ones that have an airplane mode, or maybe even ditching them altogether, are all ways that we can start to reduce the number of devices we have around us. The next one, I, stands for increase your distance from sources. So the strengths of EMFs decrease significantly as soon as you start putting your space between whatever's emitting and you. So even a few inches can make a big difference. While on a call, using the loudspeaker or using wired headphones instead of holding the phone right against your ear is a great way to increase some distance. Keeping electronics out of the bedroom or at least away from the bed to minimize your nighttime exposure is huge. And being mindful of where you're sitting in relation to high EMF emitting devices. Those sort of high use areas like our bedroom, our couch, our desk and office area. Keeping electronic devices out of the bedroom or at least away from the bed is really important. And being mindful of where you place devices with high EMF emissions like power strips and Wi-Fi routers, ensuring they're not too close to spaces where you spend a great deal of time. D stands for decreasing the duration of exposure to EMFs. So actively reducing your time on these devices or using airplane mode as much as possible, taking breaks from your devices where possible, and even just turning them off when they're not in use. These are all good tips you can use to help lower your overall exposures in the day. If possible, using wired internet or Ethernet instead of Wi-Fi, or if that's not possible, using Wi-Fi in a more responsible way, like turning it off at night, for example, when it's not in use. This is just a brief overview. We'll go through all of these in more detail in the following modules. For a comprehensive assessment, hiring an EMF professional might be worth considering. Professionals can not only identify the obvious sources of EMFs in our home, but also those hidden ones, things like wiring errors in our homes or some potential big outside sources that might be coming in. So being proactive about reducing EMF exposure is absolutely crucial for our health and well-being. And by making informed choices about the electronics and devices that we bring into our home and how we use them, we can significantly lower our exposures, ideally without some major lifestyle changes. Gradual steps can make a huge difference in this space. We know it's a lot to take in, but please don't be overwhelmed. In the next lesson, we'll go over ways that we can reduce your EMF exposure from cell phones. So we're going to take it one step at a time.